Hi everybody, Pai-chan here, and welcome back to another cosplay tips and tricks. Yeah, I know usually in these I wear one of my cosplays instead of just an anime t-shirt, which I'm not sure you've seen this one. This one's actually one of the first ones the first one I got since I moved here, but not one of the first. You've seen, I think, one of the oldest ones that I have when I do um the mystery mini box openings. Well, the reason for that is because I don't want to be I'm going to be talking about the other cosplays that I have a bit, and it'll be a lot easier to talk about them if I'm not wearing them. And the only other one that I have is that I consider, or at least partially consider, cosplay is my yukata, and I don't want to offend anybody by wearing that as a cosplay. Well, today, as you can tell by the title of this video, we are going to be talking about patterns and some ways you can use them to your advantage. And I gotta say, the one thing I gotta say is, well, at least one of the first things I've gotta say is, don't be afraid to mix and match patterns. And And with this, I will show you something that I have that you may be a little impressed about. See the see the two bins that I have stacked up right there? Well, these are all the patterns that I actually own. And with these, there's a lot more that I actually have access to because my mom and I are roommates and we share the patterns anyway. So I have access to those, as well as, I haven't looked, but I think my grandma might have some as well. So with this, the first little tip that I have with the patterns is, and this is a big one, which is how I got all these, at least once a month for each brand of patterns, like here we have a Butterick. Here we have McCall's. And, oh, let's see if I can find the other one, the other popular one, though. The McCall's one, the Butterick one isn't that common. Here we go. And here is a simplicity pattern. So those are the different, I would say, brands of patterns. But what I'm going to say about that is, well, like I was saying, once a month over at the store that we have here in America, Joann's, these patterns, and this is at least once a month, maybe more, you'll have to check on their website or their mail-in flyer, they go on sale for extremely cheap, so wait to buy your patterns until then. So, with this, while we're talking about patterns, I'm going to go into one of the patterns that I'm going to do, Duo Maxwell, when I cosplay him. Now, and just so you guys know, if you're wondering about if you're wondering about this, it's to keep Raito out of the way while I'm filming. I'll just point at him, I don't usually spray it, and he goes running. And when I do spray it at him, it's at his butt so it doesn't get in his face or anything, and he still hates it. Okay, I think these are, oh, let me look. Yes. Okay. Well, for my Duo for Duo, just for his pants alone, I'm going to use the pants. I'm going to use the pants from this pattern here, the longer ones. This pattern here, because they're jeans and how his pants zip up. And then also the way the pocket is shaped. And then maybe the pocket from this one or one from another pattern that I have. So if you know how to do it, you can combine multiple patterns. And as you see, they're both Butterick and McCall's patterns. So don't be afraid to mix and match. And it looks like he's trying to get into stuff again. See? Like I said, he runs. And I did not spray that. And for his shirt, the white part, which is actually turtleneck underneath, if you look at his sleeves, I'm just going to use this Vogue pattern, which Vogue is another one. I'm going to be using either this one right here, no, wrong one. This one right here, maybe a little, I might shorten it a little bit, or the length of this one. And then for his jacket, I'm going to use this priest pattern as a base, the B one right here. And I'm going to use, for the length, I'm going to use this pattern because this pattern, the shirt, is a little baggy on me for the length. But that's how his jacket is. So that's how I'm going to do the Duo. And as you saw, I found a perfect, well, almost perfect match for his white shirt that goes under his jacket that I'm going to use in that one pattern. The most I'll have to do is maybe shorten the collar a little bit. Well, I'll see how that works out. Now, getting into my Morgiana cosplay here, you've seen me wear this before. For the top part of the shirt, I either used this pattern or this pattern. I don't quite remember which one. And I just left off the sleeves and folded it over. And I used this pattern for the skirt, and I just attached him at the waist, and bada bing bada boom, insta dress. So that's one thing. If you have a dress that you can't completely tell if there's a seam at the waist, it might be a good idea to use both a skirt and a top pattern that actually matches what the character is wearing. And if I use that one where it's this pattern, this is actually the other pattern that I might get the pockets for my Duo cosplay, because I know these pockets and they're pretty nice big ones. If I use that one, I lengthened it a little bit. And then for the belt, I actually took the pattern, this pattern itself, the obi, and I think I used a smaller one, but instead of putting boning in it, I put, batting in it, which is what usually goes inside blankets, quilts, and everything like that, to give it the stiffness. And then for the tail at the end, I just kind of winged it with that. I had pictures open while I was putting this together of how it actually looked. That's a little more on the advanced side of doing this. Now, speaking of making things longer or shorter with my Karama Cosplay here, I used, again, one of these two patterns. Again, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it was, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was this one, but it might have been this one. It's one of the two, and I used the ones that had the straight bottom, but instead of having it like that, I cut a strip for the collar. If I were to do this again, I would do the collar differently, but for this, I actually lengthened it. As you see in the, well, oh, I'm gonna have to back up a bit. But as you can see, okay, I'll just have to tell you guys, it goes down to my knees. I can't back up much more. So this goes down to my knees. And on there, it's only supposed to go maybe about here. So I lengthened it quite a bit. Now, yeah, he's not wanting to get off. Now for my Serena dress here, I had them all prepped beforehand, so I knew that I could just grab. Now for my Serena dress here, I added the collar, but I'm not completely sure where I got the collar from. So that's why it wasn't there. But for the base of the dress, I used this pattern here. But if you look, I've got the sleeves. Well, for that, again, I used this pattern. And wait a minute. No, actually, I think I used this pattern. Well, it's one of the two. Those are the ones that I use most often. And I cut the angle here off of it, and I use that as a template to do the rest of the sleeve. And if you guys can tell, I'm not sure if you can on the video, it is two-tone. This was a quick put together. I used what I had. And the main reason why I got this dress pattern was for this princess seam here, which is what it's called. The princess seam, which is this right here, you can see it better on here. And I made it look as close as I could with what I had. Because I usually plan months, if not a year or so ahead of time for my costumes, and that I had like at the most a month and a half to get it done. He's being a pain. He actually swiped at me if you saw that. So one thing that I'm gonna say with this is, if you're making the cosplay with patterns and you're not quite and you can't find what you're looking for, and you're not quite sure how to do it, you could get a shirt that fits you well from like a secondhand store or something. Don't tear up your own clothes, and you can use that as a pattern. Or what I did is I got, well, shirt or whatever it is, and modify the pattern from there. Or that's why I have these two. These two are my favorite patterns. If I want the shirt a little longer and all that, I will use this pattern. Oh. I guess I have a mess to pick up since if you saw, he dumped one of my pattern things. One of my pattern bins. I just hope he doesn't pee on it. But if I'm doing like a baggier shirt, I will use this one. This one I actually like using for like a bodice, this little one right here. But like I said, I think this one has pockets in it. I think one of them has pockets in it that I have on the sides. I do believe it's this one on the pants though. Or it might be on, it's on one of them. I don't quite remember which one it is. But I like doing that when I just do this as a skirt to have huge pockets. So, and again, this is my go-to circle skirt because if I were to take this part off and just leave this length, that is the shortest with a skirt I will ever go. Because with the way that I'm shaped, that lands a little above my knees, but in the front, but in the back, it goes up quite a bit more than that. Like I said, because of the way that I'm shaped. But like with the Morgiana cosplay, I can kind of fudge it in the front by pulling it up a little bit and putting the belt over that. Which in turn makes the front a little more baggy if I pull it up and out of the belt and do it that way. But I am not at all saying that I am going to hike it all the way up to a mini skirt status. It'll only be about maybe an inch or two higher than it would be normally. Or I could try to pull it down in the back a little bit. Well, I know that's a lot of information to digest. Sorry about that. I didn't want any more of my patterns to fall on the floor to pick up for him to get into. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them down in the description box, in the not description box, comment box below. And if I know the information or I can get the information, like say from my mom or my grandma, yes, 3 generations of sewers there. And I know I do I do 3 a little weird. I just got into the habit from when I was doing sign language, learning sign language a little bit. I know a few songs. So I actually wanted to get this video done before I did the one that I'm planning on doing next week. And that's not going to be directly related to anime, but it will kind of relate to the otaku culture. So that'll work. And with that, I'm going to combine at least 2 patterns to do that. And I'm hoping it turns out good. And so we'll just see at the end. I'm going to have to go through some of my things out by my other little area to make sure. Well, let's just close this off now. As always, my DeviantArt and Twitter accounts will be down in the description if you want to go and check, if you want to contact me, and like, comment, and subscribe for more videos coming soon. Well, thanks everybody. See ya! And there's Raito again, right at the end of I'm saying goodbye to you guys. Well, again, see you later, everybody.